Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's tutorial is going to be about how to create this design in Illustrator, and this is a beginner's tutorial, so you need not know Illustrator like really well. I'm going to walk you through the entire process, like from which tools to select and everything. So once we finish with this design, we can use it to make patterns, something like this. I'll be doing a separate video on how to create patterns using the pattern maker in Illustrator. So let's start. So the first thing that I'm going to do is open up a file and say I want a new file. I generally want the make sure it's selected to inches because that's what I'm going to do now. I'll make it 5 inches by 5. Let's make it a little bigger probably. Make it 8 by 8 just because we can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the select tool, copy all this and just paste it here as a reference, Okay, let's go. So yeah, the main things that I've done here is I've used the rectangle tool and the polygon tool. So what I did was, first of all you have to do is, if this is the cursor that I have right now which says the select or selection tool. So if you don't have this cursor, press V on your keyboard and it'll automatically, the selection tool is V, the shortcut is V. So once you press V on your keyboard, you'll have that. So now what I want to do is right click on the rectangle tool and select the polygon tool. Now hold your shift key down, click and drag. So you can decide what size you want. So I'm just going to leave it at about, it says width is 1.14 and height is 0.99. It's not necessary that you should maintain that. It's just random width and height that I'm saying. And I know it's very hard to stick to that proportions. So just make a hexagon of any size that you like. So now we have our hexagon. We need to rotate it so that it's in this shape. So all I have to do is right click, transform, rotate. Let's move it by 90 degrees. But now our hexagon doesn't have a color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to my color palette. So if you cannot see this here, just go to Windows, Color. Once you have your colors over here, you can actually choose any of the colors, or you can go to your libraries, and if you have any color themes saved here, you can select that as well. Okay, so we have our first hexagon ready, and now we need to make pattern, which is like the inside of it. So what we can do is just select this hexagon as you have, press Ctrl or Command C, and that copies your hexagon, and then press Ctrl F or Command F. This places the hexagon right above that. For example, if I pull this out, you can see that there are two, but what happened was it just pasted it right on top. So now that we have it on the top, we're going to reduce the size. But to do that, all you have to do is, first you need to click on it, hold your Option key, hold your Shift key, and then push it inside. So we are doing two things here, and then release. You should release everything together, otherwise this is what's going to happen. It becomes irregular. So I'm just going to press Ctrl Z to make sure that everything is gone back. I'm going to hold it here, click, press Alt, press Shift, and then move your cursor to make it smaller. Now release everything at one shot. Now we want this one to be white. So what I'm going to do is I can select this white itself. So I'm going to press the eyedropper tool, that is I on my keyboard, then go and select this color. You could also go to your color panel here and just select white, but I wanted the same exact color, so I just selected from here. So let me explain the Shift key and the Alt key operations right here. So the Shift key, when you draw anything, it's not always proportional. So if you have this, now you want to move it, You can move it like this, you can move it like that. But if you hold your shift key down and then do this, then it's uniform. Now for the alt key. The alt key can be explained this way. So we have this brown polygon here. So I'm just going to paste one more on it. And then I'm going to mark it as white. Now if I press the alt key, I'm not holding shift key down, mind you. I'm just holding the alt key and pressing it. So now what happens is, it reduces, keeping the center as its point. So it's reducing, being equidistant from the center. And if you hold alt and shift together, then you get a uniform polygon which is reducing in size based on the center. And that's exactly what we needed over here. So I'm going to press V on my keyboard to go back to the selection tool, select this and hit delete because we don't want that. Now let's look at this. So how many polygons do we have here? The outermost polygon, that's 1. The white one, that's 2. And then we have a yellow one again, that's 3. And then one more, that's white. So we need 4 polygons. So now I'm going to take the white one. I'm going to say Control C and Control F, or Command C and Command F to copy and paste on top. Now hold this, click, Alt Shift, and then make it all. Now I want to color this yellow. So I'm just going to take yellow from here. You could always choose it from here or from here as well. And now press V on your keyboard to go back to your selection tool. And then Control C and Control F, or Command C and Command F. Now color this white. Click Alt or Option, Shift, reduce it. That was a little too thick, isn't it? Let's increase it a little bit. Okay. So I had a really thin one here, so maybe I'll adjust it. Okay. So this is how I created this one. So this one is pretty simple too. So how many hexagons do we have here? So we have 1, the yellow one, and we have 1, that's the yellow one, and next we have the whites, and next we have the yellow. So what this one is missing is this inside white. So we're just going to copy this and make sure we delete this. It's very simple. Press V on your keyboard to get the selection tool if you don't have already. Click and select all of this. Hold your option button down, click and drag. It's really important that you press the option key first before you click and drag. Otherwise it's not going to copy it. So now we have this. All we have to do is just click on this one and delete. So yeah, we have our 2 hexagons from our pattern here. Next, we're going to create the same thing in a different color like over here. So I'm just going to copy all of this. Press Option or Alt, click and drag. So now I'm going to take this one and make sure this is selected and not the outline. So once you have that, I'm going to press I for the eyedropper tool because I already have the color on my board. You can go ahead and click here. That works too. And then press B again. Now I'm going to go in and select the inner one. Press I and select the outer rectangle so that it's just copy pasting. We select the outer rectangle. I copy that. We select. I copy. So now you have your 4 hexagons which make up the whole design. So what else do we need? We just need these bars to make our design. So what we're going to do is we're going to create more of these and arrange them so that they have a nice pattern. So let's do that. I'm just going to select everything, hold Option key down or Alt key down on Windows, click and drag. Okay, so this seems like it. So now we're going to create these bars. All you have to do is right click on this and go to rectangle tool. Click and drag. Cool. So now we're going to hit V on our keyboard to go back to the select tool and then place it right here. This is much thicker than I thought. Let me, okay. So let me press Alt or Option, click and drag for one more. Again. Okay, now these are coming right in front of the hexagon. We don't want that. We want them to be in the background. So what we do is we just select these things. So click on this, hold the shift key and select all the bars. Make sure you hold the shift key, otherwise you cannot select everything at one shot. Once you have this, you can either press shift, command, or open square bracket, or right click, arrange, send to back. So this was what I was saying. It's shift, command, or control, open square bracket. So now you can see that they are in the background. So now we want the same thing but for the yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these four again. Hold my option key down, click and drag it out. I want them to be yellow. So I'm going to press I on my eyedropper tool. Click on this and make them yellow. You can also click here like I've told you before. Now I'm going to press V on my keyboard. Click on them when they're still selected. Go and place it so that right in the center. We do the same thing to send them to back. I'll show you with right click, arrange, send to back. Click on this, now you can see that they're totally in the back. So now all we want to do is repeat this pattern throughout the design. So let me do that and get back to you. Okay, so one thing I forgot to tell you, when we copy this and pull it down to make the pattern, you want to make sure that you're in the alignment, like you don't want to move that's left or right by even few millimeters. So what you can do is when you're trying to copy, like I press option, click on option or alt, click and then press shift. So in this order, first alt, alt, click, shift, drag. So that what happens is you can't move art anywhere and it kind of sticks to the alignment that we have. So I'm going to again click on option, click, shift and move. I think that should be enough. The only thing that we're missing is here we had like the end elements, so probably we're just going to put that. So let's just select this, hold your shift key. We have all the three. Now click on option, click, shift and adjust. Okay, so we now have that. We just need this option, click, shift. Okay, yeah, so we have that. And now what I did was I trimmed the edges to cut exactly at this. All you can do by selecting these things, hold this and just roll it up. All you have to do now is save this file by going to File and Save As. Once you have saved this, the next step would be to make a pattern out of this, and we can actually edit all these portions when we are trying to make the pattern, which I will actually talk about in a separate video. So until next time, see ya.